Oi. Saw dude. All right, look. These speakers right here, bro. These are hands down probably the best speakers I've ever heard in my life. Ever, dude. No, I'm not even kidding, for real. Anyways, what's up, dude? I'm Ashton. A lot of people know me as A-Kid. I'm an audio engineer, music producer, 5-time Grammy nominated, multi-platinum shitbag. I'm not just kidding. I've never won a Grammy, but that would be sick if I could just get out here and say that. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about these speakers, man. I'm not kidding. They are some of the best that I've ever heard. And it's not until you sit down and actually listen to them for a while and then start working on them that it makes sense. So this whole video could just be pointless because really you just have to listen to them. But I'm going to do my best to describe them in a way that I would have wanted someone to say it to me when I was researching monitors, okay? All right, past year, been doing tons of research on studio monitors, what I need, why I need it, and just did I need it, right? I went from everywhere from audiophile speakers to studio monitors and like what's the difference and all this shit and like what is phase and DSP and you know what's stereo imaging, phantom center and what coaxial drivers and three-way monitor closed cabinets, like all this stuff, okay? So I learned a ton. And what I came up with was it matters, but it like doesn't at the same time, right? Because multi-platinum records have been mixed on these NS10s. Like Thriller was mixed on NS10s, okay? So you don't need super hi-fi, super nice speakers. However, you do at the same time, right? I mean, I listen to everything from ATCs to Focals to Barefoots to Heads to Osbergers to PMCs, like you name it, I listen to it. Even in Dolby Atmos settings, dude, like PMC Atmos settings is ridiculous. And it's all nice. And they all sound great. Like I could have gone with any one of those brands and still been satisfied. But there were differences with these in comparison. Like a big difference to me, okay? A lot of people recommended the ATCs, but I just couldn't justify that because there wasn't enough low end. But the clarity's there, and then the Focals, like the high end, everyone said was great, but it was like all these different flavors. But it all came down to these because these were recommended by, you know, engineers that I respected, and all the reviews on these were phenomenal. There was 0 negative reviews about these, and that's awesome. And now I see why. So let's see about how they sound. Let's just talk about this, all right? Obviously, you want clarity in the speakers. You want to be able to hear all the detail of your favorite songs, especially when you are mixing, for obvious reasons, right? But there's another level to detail as an engineer that you're wanting, right? And that's how receptive the speaker is when working on them. So for example, with these, if I attenuate, cut, boost, whatever at like 1.5K, like 0.3 dB, I can hear that on these. Whereas some other monitors, like entry-level stuff, you really don't hear it that well. And you can say, oh, well, it's dependent on your room. And yeah, that's true, but there is a quality difference, right? I worked on HS7s, the Yamahas, for years. So big difference, right? The other thing is like, if I pan something left and right, does it actually sound like I panned it 35%? Or does that sound like 10%? And so I end up pushing the stereo image too far, and now I have shit out of phase, and it just sounds weird, and I listen to it in the car, and it's like, it's too much. With these, if I pan this 53% to the right, it sounds like 53% to the right. And not only does it sound like it's right there, it like feels like it's right there. So that's pretty wild. The phantom center on these, which for those of you that don't know, like that's when you have two speakers and kind of when they converge, it sounds like there's a third speaker right in front of you, which is really cool and fascinating to listen to. Now, a lot of engineers, they call that the sweet spot, and so that's where the listening position, or that's what you should hear in a listening position. But a lot of times we move around a lot because we're on a big console and we got to move down here for this track, or like my desk right here is really wide, so I have outboard gear that's, you know, way to the left to right, and I have to kind of move out of that center spot. With these, bro, nah, it stays there with you. Like if I could describe it in space, the Phantom Center is probably this entire monitor, this computer monitor. Just based on how I have these positioned, that's what it sounds like. So I can lean over and still hear essentially what's in mono and get the sides. So like the stereo image on these is fucking ridiculous, bro. All right, well, maybe I went on a tangent there, but yeah, there are certain things that you look for in monitors as far as like the clarity and the stereo image that you just can't get out of other like, I guess, consumer grade speakers, right? And then when it came to audiophile stuff, it's just, there's too much coloration going on. There's too much stuff boosted. You know, I looked at Bowers and Wilkins stuff, which is extremely high end, and some mastering engineers do use those, but I just didn't need that. One, it was way out of my budget. Those were like $30,000 speakers, and when I did listen to those, I just thought it was like too bright. They were like too clean. I don't know. With these though, the low end is just perfect, right? Like I didn't want a sub. I don't think you should have a sub in a bedroom studio. I think it's just too much. Unless you treat it perfectly, you still have a little bit of resonance, and I just think it's too much, man. Plus, a lot of people kind of mess up the crossover points and the phase alignment with a sub. You need room correction for it, and it's just a whole lot that goes with that. But with these, I definitely don't need a sub. You do not need a sub with these, which also leads me to say, do not place these on a desk. You need stands for these. Even if you have like a big console, like do not place them on the console, bro. Not only are they like 65 pounds in a freaking box, so just condensed, they're very powerful. So with the woofer, man, it's just the cabinet itself is a closed cabinet. It's got all this dampening material inside, and then the woofer is like specially made by Seas. So it's just for just this like incredible performance for the low end. The coolest thing I could say about it is usually if you turn up a speaker really loud or like turn it down, then you kind of lose some of the frequency responses. With these, bro, not at all. I could have this turned all the way down and I could still hear the sub frequencies in the low end the same as if I had it really loud. So the consistency is crazy. I don't know how they do it, but it's wild to listen to. But that's great because that means I can work longer and I have to worry about ear fatigue. So really, really dope. And just a very tight bass response, which is nice as well. I just like that sound. The mid-range, dude, I mean, everyone said get ATC for the mid-range, but I don't care. I don't need it. These are perfect. Like, it's just perfect because it doesn't sound too scooped. It doesn't sound too pushed like Barefoot's did. And like ATC's kind of boast about their mid-range. While it does sound like crystal clear, so do these. And the best way I can describe these, even leading into the high end of these speakers, is it just sounds like music just exists in the room. It doesn't sound like there's even speakers. I heard someone say in an interview that like they just don't get in the way. And I think that's what he means. It just feels like music is just playing out of thin air, out of life. And I think it all has to do with the DSP, the crossover frequencies, and just how well these drivers are performing and the material that these speakers are made out of just all work together. So yeah, mid-range is just perfect. And again, I have NS10s and mix cubes. So with the mid-range stuff, y'all, because a lot of engineers look for this, there's so many other tools you can do just to perfect that. But definitely right here, man, crystal clear. I'll switch to the NS10s after these, and it just sounds perfect on the NS10s, when usually it's the opposite, right? The high end, I mean, dude, it's just like, it's just magical, man. I don't know. It's not too bright. It's not too like, it's not brittle. It's not, there's not like a, it doesn't sound damp, I guess you could say. Like, it doesn't, it's just, it is what it is, dude. You're hearing exactly how the sound was intended for you to hear it. Just crystal clear. It's the best way I can put it. But yeah, man, you just gotta listen to these. I mean, that's all I gotta say. And I'm not saying you, again, I just want to make this clear. You do not have to spend this much money on monitors. I got a great deal on these. I got a once in a lifetime deal on these, so I went for it. Brand new, these were out of my budget. They come in around $10,000, but I was able to get them almost, I'm not gonna say, but it's great. So if you ever have a chance to listen to these, and if you are in the market for monitors in this tier, I would just not even think about it. I would just grab these Ex Machinas. And no, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not sponsored by Sweetwater or Vintage King or anybody. I just genuinely think these are phenomenal. But yeah, man, that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, do the whole social media and 9 yard stuff for me, man, please, because I'm trying to build a channel, and I would love to do more stuff like this and just bring more people on board and grow a big online community. I think that'd be really, really cool. And I mean, why would you not want to get on camera and just talk about your passion with a bunch of people? So please, please, please support the channel. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. Peace.